Welcome to the commentary booth where we watch and you guessed it, commentate on the week that was in movies and TV. I'm your host and play-by-play commentator Jamie Apps, and each week I'll be joined by a rotating cast of colour commentators to help you find your next viewing treat. This week I'm joined by a freelance social commentator who lists their favourite movie as American Psycho and favourite TV show as Yellowstone. Welcome back to the show, Blake Robinson.
Jamie Apps. I'm surprised you remember my name. It has been that long between drinks.
It has been a while.
But, mate, haven't we had some fun in the meantime? You and me, singularity. Is that the word? Separately, Rivley.
Separately, yeah.
You've been doing your thing in America, ripping and tearing. I've just been living my best life over here, holding the fort in New South Wales.
Sweating and then drowning.
Look, I've got headphones on now and I can hear the rain outside. That's how barbaric it is. But played golf today with trousers for the first time in many a month, which is nice to be back. It's nice to be back.
Wow.
I've missed it. No, there's a little things.
Got your proper golfer on.
Mate, yeah, if you got to celebrate the 1% wins if you want to get anywhere in life. If you aim high, you're never gonna meet your goals. So just aim low.
So
I just want to play golf in trousers. Then you'll get there. Then just step by step.
Everything on top is just a cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm all about the 1%ers, Jamie.
But did your horse have a win recently too?
Yes. So my racehorse that I own, Rare Beauty, had a win last weekend. Finally.
Very nice.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Good payday or just a pretty average one?
Look, had worse paydays.
That's good then.
It was just, you know the famous quote with racehorse ownership is 1% of the share for 100% of the experience.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's very exciting. Very exciting times. It's a complete different dynamic to watching horse racing, gambling. Period. I didn't even have any money on it. I didn't even bet on it, and I was just over the moon. So it's a different dynamic. Very exciting. Very exciting for me in my little life. So that's what's going on with me.
I love looking at your social media. It's like, yep, my horse won a race, sweet, and then I'm going to go get a $12 schnitzel, and it's the greatest thing ever. It's like,
$9.50. I don't know where you're getting these $12 overpriced schnitzels from, but $9.50, which from North Wollongong Hotel. Which I thought was meant to be $7.50, and I got there last night, $9.50.
Inflation, mate. Inflation's everything.
Inflation's everything. I'm sick of it. You know, and speaking of inflation, have you brought the newspaper lately?
No.
You haven't bought the newspaper lately?
No, it's probably ridiculous now.
It's like $2.80 for the Thursday Telegraph.
That's not as bad as I would expect.
You're better off buying like Street Machine magazine or something for $8 or FHM, whatever you're into.
Something.
If they still make magazines.
Yeah, well, I do.
Exactly. There you go. But well, enough said. Don't buy either of those magazines. Subscribe to the commentary booth, and you'll get your magazines in the mail, like I do.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's
so. Moving on to the topic this week, we got a very interesting movie. This week we're reviewing Infinity Pool, the latest sci-fi horror film by Brandon Cronenberg, following in the footsteps of his father. And this film follows a struggling writer and his wife as they head out on vacation. But then partway through the vacation, a terrible accident happens and they discover this country's dark underbelly culture. And, so the movie isn't out yet. We got to see it early. It'll be available in Australian cinemas on next week, May 11th. What did you think of this one before we dive all the way into it?
A couple of things first. First of all, is May 11th next week?
It will be by the time this podcast goes out.
I was going to say, wow. Anyway, all right, we'll get that out of the way. Second of all, I didn't know this movie existed until it came across my desk the other day. It coming across my desk, meaning you informing me about it. Look, and I seen Mia Goth, and I was it had my full attention instantly. So I didn't even watch the trailer. I'd seen enough just seeing Mia Goth was in it. Right, so that's out of the way. First of all, if you're a fan of Ari Aster, M. Night Shyamalan, this is your movie.
Yes,
it is a perfect
that halfway
hybrid.
through, it's like takes a massive turn. You're like, oh.
And if you enjoyed The White Lotus, maybe watching it with your mum or your partner, and that was a bit funny, a bit sort of PG, consider this the R-rated White Lotus. I'll say as well.
100%.
All right.
This is very out there, violent, and
so if you aren't into those 3 things I've mentioned, I probably wouldn't bother. 4 things even, because me at Goth. Hey, even if you're an Alexander Skarsgård fan, he plays an interesting role in this.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you
can come at this from all angles.
If you liked Pearl and X, you'll like this one.
Jamie. Mia Goth. She's incredible. She just continues to blow my mind with her performances.
Yeah. Only issue I have with her is she kind of plays the same character all the time. Like this really sweet, manipulative, convincing person, but then turns out to be crazy manipulative and a little bit psycho.
Yeah, but look, you're a wrestling fan. You like John Cena, I assume. Do you watch John Cena movies for John Cena, or do you want John Cena to change character and not be John Cena anymore?
I like John Cena.
You like John Cena, exactly. I like Mia Goth.
In Suicide Squad and Peacemaker. Look, I like silly John Cena.
What was that?
Not action movie John Cena.
Well, I'm trying to think. I cannot tell you the last John Cena movie I watched. Throw a couple early ones out, like 2008 vibes.
The Marine.
Nope. I'm thinking like The Pacifier, but that was Vin Diesel. No, it wasn't even Vin Diesel. Was that The Rock? Are they the same person?
Yeah, I think so.
Have you seen Vin Diesel and The Rock in the same room together?
Yeah, I've seen them in the same movie together, yes.
Yeah, but Eddie Murphy plays like 8 characters in Nutty Professor, doesn't he?
They're in multiple Fast and the Furious movies.
I started watching Fast and Furious after Tokyo Drift, which is number 3. Right.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, I like Mia Goth because I like Mia Goth. And if she's going to perform like that every movie, bring it on.
Yeah. I'm just looking up John Cena's filmography to let you know. So he did...
Give me something.
The Rumble, or Ready to Rumble, The Marine, 12 Rounds, Trainwreck.
Oh, with Amy Schumer. That is the last, and I'm going to say only movie I've seen John Cena in. And that movie's pretty good. For someone who doesn't like Amy Schumer, I enjoyed that.
Daddy's Home 2, Blockers, Bumblebee, F9, Suicide Squad.
No.
Vacation Friends? Did you watch that one?
Nope.
He's in the upcoming Barbie movie.
No way.
Yeah, he's got a lot of movies this year. He's got Fast X, Barbie, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Mutant Mayhem, and then
if
some
anyone
movie
was
called Coyote vs. Acme.
Right, if anyone was born to play like a live action Ninja Turtle, it's John Cena. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I reckon he's going to be a
is that what it is?
Ken in the Barbie movie.
Is that what it is? Is he Ken? No, he's not. Ryan Gosling's Ken.
All the men are Ken in the Barbie movie.
Am I missing something?
Have you not seen the trailer?
No, I've seen like the behind the scenes photos, like when they were filming. That's all I needed to see.
Go and watch the trailer, and all the men are Ken, and all the women are Barbie.
No way. Is
Margaret in the Barbie toy line? They're all Barbies. They don't have individual names. They're not like Bratz dolls.
They're all Barbie, yeah. Yeah, wow. Oh, Bratz dolls do have names. I remember there was a Jade, maybe a Taylor.
The fact that
I'm going to say
know the names.
I'm going to say a Tegan. And I have no idea the like a fourth one. I'm going to say...
Surely there's more than 4.
Christine.
You just throw out any woman's name, like, okay, yeah, I guess I believe it.
Yeah, no, but I've never heard of this Barbie. Multiple. What other female Barbies are there?
Heaps. Go and watch the trailer.
Yeah, well, I'll get back to you.
Go and watch the trailer when we finish this, and you'll be very blown away.
I'll get back to you on that. Now I'm just trying to think. Like I've got like a Ken wish list now that you've. Who do I want to see as Ken?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Anyway, we're not talking about Barbie on today's show.
Yeah, not yet.
No.
Hopefully in the next couple of months.
Yep.
So yeah, like we said, this movie is pretty full on. When it originally went in to get rated in the US, it came back as NC-17, which is the equivalent to our adults only R18. So anyone under 18 cannot go and see this movie at all in the US. But then they realized that was going to be really bad for box office results.
Yeah.
So they re-edited it, took it down to a US R rating, which is our MA-15 essentially. So basically anyone can go and see it as long as they have a parent accompanying them.
So you'll be able to take me to see this one.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty full on at points.
Yeah, I just want to touch on that. Why you think it may have gotten this rating? Not so much why you think, but what did you find the most edgy or pullbackish, in your face sort of thing? Was it the gore? Because the gore was full on, but then there's there's orgies.
There is one particular. No, that's not the scene that.
No. I know the one. There's the hostage situation, and there's some sort of excuse for like a willy that's shown on camera, and it's like some mutant situation.
Yep. That's not the scene either.
I'm gonna say the execution of.
Nope.
No.
The scene that I was like, well, that's pretty intense, was the beach.
Oh, maybe a little bit wristy action is what you're saying.
Yo, reach around. That was a little bit. Because
that wasn't impressive.
They showed a lot.
Yeah. Look, I was glad. I was glad I was watching on my own, not with like anyone else, because that would have been uncomfortable.
Yeah, that would not be ideal with your parents in the room.
That's probably the first time in like just a movie I've seen cum drip out of a penis.
Yeah, that's
to say
it was
it
that
lightly.
point where I was like, okay, this took it to a whole extra level. Like,
or there's that scene like towards the end where he's just fought off with the dog, and then Mia puts blood on her boobies, and then he's suckling said blood boobies. Well,
yes.
There was a bit going on in this, Jamie.
There's a lot of scenes.
But
so
none of it was.
The crazy part is
it wasn't full on.
This is the toned down version.
No.
What did they cut?
Excuse me.
What did they cut out?
Is there a toned down? Is there like more?
This is the toned down R-rated version.
Oh my god!
What was in the adults NC-17 version?
Mate, this version we watched wasn't even like adults version. This was like a niche crowd version.
Yeah, this is a very artsy film.
The first thing I thought of was like the cinematography and like the filming, the shots that are used in this are incredible. And I'm gonna say, whoever put a lot of these shots together has done extensive amounts of psychedelic drugs in their time.
Yeah,
they know what they were doing.
Yeah,
it was spot on.
It's very Cronenberg. Like Brandon as well as his dad both do like these really crazy sort of horror gore movies, but then they have those sequences where like we're getting like subliminal like flashes of things and weird like noise, and like even at the start we get that weird like rotating camera that just kind of makes you feel uneasy from the outset.
Did you ever watch the film Suspiria? It was the 2018 remake or something.
Well, not the remake. I think I watched the original.
What, like from the 60s?
Ages ago.
Like the 60s version? Bruh, you're not that old.
It was on like some sort of streaming thing. I didn't watch it when it came out.
Right, I didn't think you're that. Boy, I didn't think you're that old, man. Like I knew you were old, but shit. Wait, you go to the drive-in to watch that one? Anyway, it's just had those vibes. What was the first film you thought of that this reminded you of? I got like instant Midsummer vibes, just purely because like the cult atmosphere.
Yep. Yeah, Midsummer. I watched Brandon Cronenberg's previous movie, The Possessor.
I need to watch this.
And
do I?
It's very similar. Like, it's this sci-fi future. That one that's like they're doing like experiments on dreams.
Yep.
And then the dreams like slowly take over the person that they're doing the tests on. But I thought this was better than Possessor. Namely, like the two performances by Alexander Skarsgård and Mia Goth. They carry this movie. I think.
Mia takes full control of this movie and makes it her own. And that's the character she plays. Two things. You just said Alexander Skarsgård or Alexander Skarsgårds. There was multiple Alexander Skarsgårds in this of multiple reincarnation cloning fame, which was very, very interesting. Like genius. So what are we describing this country? This is a made up country, yeah? Fictional?
Yeah, so the country that they're in is called Latolka, and it's like, it looks like it's kind of like Greece mixed with
very Greek islands.
Sort of
very Greek islands. Well, wouldn't be
a little bit of Asia and like Mexico a little bit as well.
I wouldn't be shocked if this film was filmed in either Greek islands or Mexico. Do we have confirmation?
I think it was filmed in like Canada and then like some random Eastern European country. They filmed for 5 weeks in Croatia.
Checks out.
And then moved to Budapest in Hungary. And then, yeah, that's it. And then they finished post-production in Canada. So they would have got all the tax breaks for doing the post-production in Canada.
Is that a thing, is it?
Yeah.
I'm getting low-budget vibes from this film too, and I reckon they've pulled it off.
It doesn't say anywhere, but they made $5 million off it, so
hey,
I would imagine they made their money back.
Hey, that's more than I made on my horse winning.
Yep, I imagine a lot of the budget went to Alexander, Mia, and Cronenberg as the director.
Do you reckon Mia charges out the arse? I don't know. I reckon she just like gets a.
I would think her rate is going up rapidly. Like, it was probably pretty low before Pearl, and now it'd be skyrocketing after those two movies. Pearl,
Question:
X.
What movie do you recognise? Oh, Maxine's so keen. What movie do you recognise Mia Goth from? What is like?
Yeah, X and Pearl.
Yeah, right.
I didn't know her from really anything until this one, until those two.
Right.
But I did see she has done a bunch of other stuff. She's got like
Nymphomaniac is where I first.
She's got that Suspiria,
yep.
remake. Nymphomaniac was her debut.
Nymphomaniac with a very confronting scene with her now husband of 9 years, Shia LaBeouf. She's married to Shia LaBeouf since like 2016, bro. Catch up.
I had no idea.
When a girl like Mia Goth exists, you want to know a bit about her and if she's on the market. You just got to know these things. And she's off the market to Shia LaBeouf, which I'm okay with because I really like Shia LaBeouf. And when you hear that information, you like, yeah, that checks out. They should be together. They are soulmates.
And then the rest of the cast, no one like really notable.
No.
One person that does have like a pretty big role in the early half of the movie is Cleopatra Coleman as M. Foster, Alexander's wife in the movie.
Do you reckon I reckon she dropped out of the film and the story too quickly, too suddenly. She just I didn't like that.
Her husband has no passport. He is acting a bit weird, and she's just like, honey,
think of it as like a sitcom or like a running TV show, and like a character dies in real life, and they have to sort of write in a way to kill them off. That is how I got the vibes for this. I was like, oh, where'd you go?
I looked up her filmography though. She has some very interesting credits to her name. So the main things that she's known for are The Last Man on Earth, a Netflix series, and the show Dope Sick. But what was her debut acting role?
I'm going to say like... wait. No. I think I have got it.
Not a chance.
I'm going to ballpark it. I'm going to say Disney.
Nope.
Oh, shit.
She's Australian, so that might help.
Pack to the Rafters.
No.
Sea Patrol.
Blue Healers.
Blue Healers. I was going to say All Saints next.
She was in a Blue Healers episode.
That's huge. What was she, like 10?
I can't imagine she was very old, and she was probably just like.
So she's Australian.
Suspect.
Australian, you're saying?
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
So she a real one for that.
Good little spot for her. Hopefully get her popping up in a few minutes.
Yeah, they don't kill her off again. Well, they didn't kill her off. They just you're done.
She just dipped out. Old she's like, this guy's weird. I'm out.
But now that you mention this is like a trimmed down, family friendly version, there's definitely like 30 to 45 minutes of like dialogue missing. I just like now that I'm thinking back on it, like there's a lot missing. Like it just jumps to and fro a bit, like, and there's juicy parts they've sort of skipped over, like when I went to the house to do, like, they broke in and they did the hostages, like that wasn't all explained very well. And I just feel like how that other group, the cult, if you will, he got caught up with, the Skarsgård character, how this is like they repeatedly purposely get arrested just so they can be cloned and watch themselves be executed. I just feel like that wasn't explained well enough, like why those people are so into that, or how they know about it, or why it's a thing. I don't know. There's just some unanswered questions left in the air. Like, if I was going to pick it apart.
I think the movie's just kind of like... Did you watch The Purge?
Oh, nah.
Okay, so I think it's like The Purge, where it's basically like exploring what people would do if they could live their life without any consequences.
Yep.
So, like, once these people, like, accidentally get themselves in a situation where they have to suddenly go through this process of the cloning and the execution and everything, they realize we're rich. They can't do anything to us here, so we're just going to do what we want, and they go and live this, like, unbridled, hedonistic lifestyle where they're like, we can... Because they talk about how this country's, like, really religious, and, like, sex out of marriage and stuff like that is illegal. So these people are just like, screw it, we're going to just do all the drugs.
Yep.
Have all these orgies. And then if somebody pisses us off, we're going to go attack them and murder them, so we don't care. And then they just fall into this, like, crazy... whatever, we can do what we want because we're rich, and it's kind of like a commentary on
taking the piss out of the locals,
rich people in.
The thing I thought interesting when they got arrested for that hostage situation, when they ended up back at that, I don't know what you call it, mental hospital, jail, science lab, and they're all sitting around the ground, they're like complaining, like, "Oh, you left us waiting here so long," like they're waiting to get into like the cinema or something.
Yes, that was another thing. Like,
I was like,
when we see them all have to go through the execution stage, they treat it like a theatre play, and like are clapping and laughing and cheering along. It's like, are we like legitimately messed up at this point?
Am I gonna? Are we doing spoilers here today?
We will from now on.
From now on, this is like When they lined them all up, did you think that was for real?
Yes,
I did too. Then
that part was very well done. I was like, they're not doing the,
because he's like,
because they killed a cop.
Because he's like, I'm gonna use this opportunity to make a statement this time, make an example out of you. And I'm like, oh, then they slit. Well, whose float did they slit? Skarsgård, first. I was like, oh, but then it shows them they're all watching on. I was like, got me again. Then they're all loving it, absolutely loving it.
Yeah, clapping, laughing along, joking around. I'm like, these people are legitimately messed up at this point. Something
that really tilted me, and I know it's only a movie, but when they were all sitting around, they were asking Skarsgård about his experience, and they were saying, well, when it was my first time, I started to question whether I was really myself, or did you just was the clone of yourself watching the real you get executed? And when that thought was in my head, I was like, oh my God, imagine living the rest of your life thinking that, or every day questioning, am I really myself? Or am I just a clone?
Am I the clone?
Have I watched myself be executed? And am I now the clone? That would be tilting.
I think that's what messes him up in this movie so much. Like,
fully sends him.
From that point, he's just like, oh, wait, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, then he just doesn't give a
because
shit
they talk about when they do the cloning process that the clone has to have all of your memories and emotions and thoughts so that, like, the execution is, like, meaningful, I guess, so that it's not just like a empty vessel that the person has to come and kill.
When the first execution took place, when the kid stabbed him, was that the first one? Was that the initial?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was thinking maybe he was going to be sitting there and he could feel the pain, like feel it, but nothing would happen. But he was just sitting in the stands watching. I was like, I thought maybe he would actually feel it, but would with no consequence.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then he gets that like weird, like sadistic smile at the end of it, being like, "Oh, actually."
Oi! I noticed that. That was very sneaky too, very subtle.
And I think his wife noticed too.
Yeah, and he's like, I noticed that too. I was like, but that little smile made me think, well, maybe that is the clone sitting there.
Yeah. Looking back on it, like, maybe.
Yeah, I'm glad you.
It's definitely a movie that leaves you questioning a lot of stuff at the end of it.
It did, but it didn't. Like, I'm satisfied with what I watched. Like, I haven't walked away from that wanting more. Like, I was like, this is sick, and the whole.
It's just a movie that you could go back.
Hey, a classic thriller too, like suspenseful. My heart was racing the entire film. Because I didn't know what was going to happen next. I was like, this is sick. This is like, I love this feeling.
And, like, that first execution too, where the James that is strapped to the pole, like, when it starts screaming out and, like, begging for help from
that seems
his
pure.
wife as well, I was like, that is so messed up.
And it's like, it shows emotion. And that's what makes you think, like, is this a clone after all? Like, how can a clone have so much raw, pure emotion?
Mm-hmm. And I think, that's part of the, like, having the memories within it. And it's just, it's so messed up. And the fact that they get a 13-year-old to come in and commit that first execution. And
then he
doesn't just,
then
like,
he ends up.
It's not like stab, walk away.
Then he ends up in the kid's house at the end. Like, that's the house he just happens to be in.
All comes full circle at the end.
Yeah. No, I'm very, very happy with it. But one thing, like, it's no issue, but just infinity pool, the mention of, like, it gets mentioned once and that's it. Like, but it's, like, not relevant to anything.
I guess it is with the way the cloning procedure works. Where go into this pool of liquid and there's an infinite amount of.
So when they're getting
can come out.
So you know what it is, no? Because an infinity pool, it's just the water runs over the edge. It's like a fountain. It just keeps recycling itself, keeps going over the same water. It's never ending, and that's what's happening here when these people are getting cloned. That's just a never-ending infinity pool of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just answer my own question.
You just made yourself feel really small.
No, I'm just looking after the listeners.
And, like, when we do eventually meet that group of people that have been through this procedure
misfits
before, did you at that point start thinking, was this all planned by
straight away
Mia Goth's character?
Straight away, instantly, as soon as he's got knocked on the door and they didn't go with him, the other two, Mia Goth and her partner, I was like, oh yeah, well, that's a setup.
We're introduced to them, and, like, she seems to be like this
super fan,
crazy super fan, and it's like, oh, is she just like, did she intentionally get him embroiled in this too?
But then I'm thinking, like, why did they target these people? Did they need more troops in their little cult, or are they just, like, twisted? Like, I don't know. I
think they're just twisted.
If you're, like, partying at home, or you're like kicking on, you just want more people there. Like, and these people are like, there's 6 of them. They're like, hell yeah, like, let's bring more people to this party.
Yeah, I think they're just twisted people. And
how's that?
She wanted to have sex with him, and that was her way of getting him involved in their crew.
How's that scene at the end where they're at the hotel breakfast, like, completely off their minds? and he's like spitting berries at this like fresh new couple that are just at the resort having breakfast.
Yep. And yeah, we just get to witness their crimes just get more and more violent
brazen
out there, and yeah, and then they like James tries to escape, and they attack the bus and start shooting at a bus full of random people.
Hey, you know, I got
they don't care.
Hey, if I got one bone to pick with this film, it is what happened to his leg that got shot. Like they'd showed a shot of it. It was so bad, like he was going to die. It was pissing out, like this open gash. Then all of a sudden it's okay. Then what, they capture him and he ends up in this house and he kills like the dog version of himself. And like, what happened to his leg that like was killing him? Excuse me.
I have no idea.
Anyway, I know it's only a movie.
What were you thinking too when they brought out that dog clone of him?
By that stage, I wasn't shocked at all. Like,
you're just like, oh, whatever. I'm rolling with the punches at this point.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking the whole time was like, how weird would it be? Like, would it be you'd be grossed out if like yourself was in front of you, like you, just like exactly the same as you, with your cock and balls out, like crawling all over you, like growling at you, like
on a leash,
like I don't. I was like, would that be weird? Like, would you be grossed out? Like, that's just like one of your mates doing that to you, or like, would you just not care because it's you? Like, if ignoring the fact that it's like a clone of you, and you'll be freaked out. Like, but would you be grossed out? That's what I was thinking during that scene.
Like, that thought is weird, but then also the thought of you have to. It's like life or death fight between yourself as well. Where
yeah, because
she was like making him kill himself.
Yeah, because
to like kill that last shred of humanity in himself, I guess.
But that's what it led the viewer to believe again, like, and keep questioning. Like, it made the viewer think that he's still questioning whether he's the real him or not. Mm-hmm. So he's like, oh, I don't really want to kill this clone of me in case that is me.
Especially because it's like, at this point, it's this is a clone that he didn't have any knowledge of. Like all the others
they brought that one out of nowhere. Hey.
Whereas that one was like, where did this come from? So
I forgot about that.
If they can make clones that I don't know about, am I the real one or am I the clone?
By that stage, he was just so frazzled.
He was broken at that point.
Broken, man. Just frazzled. Damn, at the end, the closing scene, like, he didn't even make it home. Or was that a clone of him on the beach? Who knows?
That's the big question at the end of this movie, where they all go down the shuttle bus back to the airport,
acting like nothing happened.
Everyone else, totally fine, compartmentalized it all. That was holiday us. Now we're going back to real world, and we're nice and proper. And James is sitting there like clearly disturbed and unable to compartmentalize anything, and he can't leave. So that sort of leads you to think, is he that broken that he can't go back to potentially be around his wife and hurt her? Or is this the clone being like, this is home?
You know what I would like to know? Does he write one hell of a story out of this?
You would hope so. If he can,
like the whole time I was thinking, oh my god, like the inspiration he's going to get for his next novel out of this.
What a book!
So I'm hoping. I don't know. I'm hoping something comes up out of it. Like, someone's like written a follow-up story or something.
Yeah, I could see them doing like a sequel to this, but
if it catches on.
Like, yeah, just the whole execution, having to watch yourself be killed.
They're pretty messed up.
That would mess you up so bad. And
one
of the other things that jumped out at me when they do that home invasion, how terrifying are those masks?
Well, we got a glimpse of the masks early on, didn't we? At the resort. I thought the masks were brilliant. Some of them were excellent.
They were sketchy looking.
Scary as shit.
If someone broke into my house wearing one of those, I'm like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'm not messing with this crazy person.
Yeah, the masks were sick. Big fan. But they weren't like high production or like very, like, they were just like plain old masks, but they were just designed very well. I thought, like, they were scary as shit. They were gross.
They were scary, gross designs that kind
sick
of look like
masks.
Like kind of like Leatherface type.
But you know they're
peeled the skin off people.
Yeah, that's what they reminded me of. The masks were reminiscent of all the head injuries and all the gore we've seen in the film. It was almost identical. I wouldn't be surprised if you went back through and looked at all the smashed faces and caved in heads we've seen. They would probably align with each of the masks that were in the film. It'd come close. There's probably a mask for each smashed in head that we've seen.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's pretty. It was gross.
Yeah, very gory, very gory. Not for the faint-hearted. It was very sexy, but it wasn't turn away. If you're going to turn away, it's probably when he was getting stabbed to death, the first execution. I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
That was starting to get a little bit hard to watch. I thought that was like guts and that were going to pour out.
The first like couple of stabs, I'm like, okay, yeah,
I swear my abs started to hurt after that. My stomach started aching. Like, ooh.
The first couple of stabs, it's just like, oh yeah, standard horror.
Yeah.
Couple of bits of gore, and then it just kept going and going. And
kid didn't
I think
hold
that's
back.
one thing Cronenberg does really well, where he just like he pushes everything that like just a step too far, where it goes from this is just a movie to okay, now this is uncomfortable, and like the whole movie has you on the edge of like I feel okay, yeah, no, now I'm disturbed.
I don't know if I've felt uncomfortable movies were like notoriously Mother of Jennifer Lawrence fame. That movie of Aronofsky fame. That movie made me really uncomfortable to the point I haven't been able to watch it again because it just made me so uncomfortable. I've never felt more uncomfortable in my life, let alone like watching a movie. Yep. This movie, Infinity Pool, didn't make me feel that. I was like really enjoyed it. I was happy with what I was seeing on screen. Like I said, it made my heart race. So it was very thrilling. But yeah, it didn't make me uncomfortable at all. But hey, maybe I just got thick skin and I'm immune to this sort of gross shit these days. This movie definitely isn't for everyone. Let's just make that loud and clear.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you definitely need to go into this sort of doing a bit of research on what a Cronenberg movie is and make sure that that's something that you're comfortable with. So it's going to be in Australian cinemas on the 11th of May.
This will be in your face on a big screen.
Yeah.
There's some shit in here that will be in your face.
Like that
most
beach
things.
Scene?
Oh my God.
That beach scene on a cinema screen?
Bruh. Oh my God.
That's going to lead to some very awkward, like, looking
All right,
around.
yes. All right, yes or no from you. Prosthetic cock.
It has to
have been, bro. Like, it has to have been.
But yeah, that's the drizzle. Just like,
it was hectic,
I was fine with that scene until the drizzle.
It was hectic. And they made sure you've seen like a couple more drops hit the pebbles just in case you know what was going on. Yeah, but on that scene, so this happens before they drive away and hit old mate, and which pretty much sends the movie on its way. How did they get so drunk? And like, why are they leaving in the middle of the night? Like, what's the go there? Did they like get so drunk that they passed out? Then they're like, holy shit, we're not allowed out of the resort. We have to go back like before a certain time. And they're like, oh my God, we have to get out of here straight away. Like, I didn't understand why they just all of a sudden got up when they're all half asleep, drunk, and decided to leave when it's dark. Or they maybe just got so drunk during the day or accidentally fell asleep on the beach. Then they're like, holy shit, we're not meant to be out at night.
What I took from that scene was, I don't think the Mia Goth and her husband were drunk. I think they were trying to get James and his wife drunk, and then they were going to get him to kill the wife.
This isn't the first movie you've seen, Jamie.
And then that was going to set into action the craziness. But then he offers to drive.
Good point.
And then accidentally runs over the farmer, and they're like, we don't have to kill the wife, we can just do this.
Yeah.
And then, that sets everything in motion. And then maybe they were thinking, we can get 2 people in the group now. But, the wife ends up just...
And that makes sense, because when the cops knocked on his door, you're like, how the friggin' hell do they know about this? And it's obviously clear that, like, the Mia Goth characters of the world have dobbed them in.
Especially because, like, after the accident happens, those two go from like absolutely shit-faced, can't stand up or walk around, to get back in the like straight straight face.
Oh yeah,
get back in the
we'll
car.
see.
We've got to go back.
We'll see in the morning.
We'll
see
start driving, and like they immediately put into action. Okay, get back in the car. Forget about it. Let's just drive home. And it's like, hang on, you were like blackout drunk 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. After dishing out wristies.
Yeah, that was very full on.
That was a bit much, but still not enough.
So, in terms of rating, what would you give Infinity Pool?
Out of 10's too hard. I'm going to give it...
Well, we usually just do out of 5. 5 being...
Yeah, that's what I was going to do.
Drop everything, go and see it right now. And then 1 being like, don't waste your time.
I'm going to give this movie 3.75 wristies out of 5.
3.75 droplets?
3.75 jizzlets.
3.75 mils? Oh my God.
I think that's fair. Like, 4 is pretty extreme. But like, I would give like Hereditary like a 4. Even though I loved it, but it's not a 5. Then like 3 is like the first Transformers movie. Like, it was pretty cool, but I'm not going to send everyone to see it. But I'm not going to like watch it all the time. But 3.75 is fair, I think.
Yeah. So I just did a straight 3.
Yeah, no, that's ballpark. When we're on the same page.
It was enjoyable, disturbing, and horrifying at times.
Well, that's everything you want in a film.
Yeah, ultimately,
the 3 things you want.
The plot is a little bit like convoluted and surface level, but the 2 acting performances hold their own. But like we said, it's very much a niche movie.
Yep. It's very arty.
Do your research. Make sure you watch the trailer. Make sure you know what you're getting into, and be prepared for it.
Unless you're like me.
Oh, I'm going to the movies on Saturday. This will do.
Mate, if you're just going to the movies to see this, or you've rocked up and like Super Mario Brothers movies, like this is sold out or something, and like, oh, what's Infinity Pool? That sounds fun. Come here, kids. It's still school holidays. You want to go see this? It ain't it. If you're going to the movies to see this, you are like you want to see it and you know about it. But, like, I'm shocked that this is going to be in cinemas. Let's just put it that way. To give you an idea of what this film's like, I'm shocked it's in cinemas. Or it's going to be. Unless it's like the Ritz in Randwick.
Yeah, the Gala in Warrell or something.
The Gala
like
be all
the
over
art, the sort of like art movie cinemas. Alrighty. Thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow me on social media at JamyUpsMedia and at Pario Magazine. And you can follow Blake on Twitter at Captain Crumbs with a Z. The Commentary Booth is a fan-funded production of Jamie Ups Media. You can support the podcast alongside our magazine, Pario Magazine, on Patreon at patreon.com/JamieUpsMedia. The following people supported at the publisher level or higher, and you cannot fathom how incredibly appreciative we are for their support.